Every community has to decide what it values most. In Macon-Bibb County, those choices can be found in public budgets, commission agendas, and voter-approved tax initiatives. This overview examines two major public investments moving forward at nearly the same time: a new downtown arena and the expansion of the Bibb County Law Enforcement Center. According to public records summarized in this report, the Commission authorized financing of up to $350 million for the arena through the Urban Development Authority. The jail expansion, by comparison, is budgeted at approximately $31 million. These projects serve very different purposes. The proposed arena is intended to promote economic development, entertainment, and activity in a new downtown civic center district. The jail expansion addresses detention capacity, security, mental health needs, and public safety. The arena project is projected as a venue with more than 10,000 seats. Public records identify up to $350 million in authorized Urban Development Authority revenue bonds, with completion projected for late 2028. An intergovernmental agreement, approved in June 2026, provides for county payments subject to the terms of that agreement, including an annual cap identified in the public documents. The Law Enforcement Center expansion is substantially smaller in financial scale. The announced project is approximately $31 million and adds 150 beds through a prefabricated modular addition. 96 are described as maximum security beds, while 24 are designated for mental health purposes. That mental health allocation deserves particular attention. Sheriff David Davis publicly estimated that more than 300 inmates may require mental health or substance use services. If that estimate is accurate, 24 designated mental health beds would represent only a small fraction of the stated need. The expansion also comes against a documented history of serious problems at the existing jail. Grand jury presentments have described overcrowding and deteriorating conditions. Public records and reporting have documented broken locks, security failures, inmate escapes, violence, staffing concerns, and litigation alleging constitutional violations. A June 2025 grand jury presentment characterized conditions as disgusting and inhumane. The point is not that an arena has no public value, nor is the point that every available dollar can legally be transferred from one project to another. Different projects may involve different revenue sources, statutory restrictions, bond structures, and voter-approved purposes. The accountability question is broader. What do the relative scale and timing of these investments tell citizens about governmental priorities? That question becomes more significant when public participation is considered. The March 2025 SPLOST referendum passed with approximately 5.2% voter turnout, based on the election figures summarized in this report. Roughly 6,250 ballots cast from approximately 119,000 registered voters. Georgia law permits SPLOST revenue to be used for approved capital purposes, and elected officials retain authority to make many implementation and financing decisions after a referendum. But legal authority and democratic accountability are not the same question. When participation is this low, citizens have reason to examine exactly what appeared on the ballot, what projects were disclosed before the vote, what discretion remained after approval, and how subsequent financing decisions were made. The arena financing also creates a long-term question. Revenue bonds are issued with the expectation that pledged or dedicated revenues will support debt service. But projections are not guarantees. Economic downturns, inflation, construction costs, changing entertainment habits, operating expenses, or weaker than expected revenues can alter the financial picture over a period measured in decades. That is why responsible public finance requires more than a best-case forecast. Citizens should be able to examine the downside scenario as well. What happens if projected revenues fall 10% short, 20%, 30%? What revenues are legally pledged to the debt? What protections exist for taxpayers? What are the debt service coverage assumptions? What is the total principal and interest over the life of the financing? And if the projections fail, what other capital projects, services, maintenance needs, fees, or future borrowing decisions could come under pressure? Those questions matter because borrowing capacity has an opportunity cost. A government committing substantial resources or repayment capacity to one long-term project may have less flexibility when another major need arises. Roads will still require repair. Drainage systems will still require maintenance. Fire and emergency services will still require equipment and personnel. Law enforcement facilities will still deteriorate. Public transportation, utilities, and other infrastructure will still require investment. The comparison between the arena and jail, therefore, is not simply entertainment versus incarceration. It is a case study in public priority setting. How are capital priorities established? How are SPLOST projects selected? What public participation occurs after voter approval? What financial assumptions support a $350 million authorization? And are citizens given enough information to evaluate those assumptions before commitments extending decades into the future are made? Public accountability does not require opposition to every large project. It requires transparency sufficient to test the government's claims. Show the public the bond documents. Show the revenue projections. Show the debt service schedule. Show the stress tests. Show the construction assumptions. Show what revenues are pledged. Show the complete cost over the financing term. And explain what happens if the optimistic scenario does not occur. The same standard should apply to the jail. Show the documented capacity need. Show the staffing requirements. Show the condition assessments. Show how 24 mental health beds compare with the actual population requiring treatment. Show the plan for maintaining secure locks, adequate supervision, medical care, and constitutionally sufficient conditions after construction is complete. This is not an argument against an arena, and it is not an argument against improving the jail. It is an invitation to examine the public record, understand how local government allocates resources, and determine whether those decisions reflect the priorities of the community. Democracy depends on more than elections. It depends on informed citizens who know where decisions are made, who makes them, how public money is committed, and how to hold those officials accountable. Follow the money. Know the facts. Hold leaders accountable. Funding choices made today can shape public safety, services, infrastructure, and opportunity for decades to come.
Know Your Government is an independent civic education initiative dedicated to helping residents understand how local government works through official records, budgets, and publicly available information.